Good evening. Welcome to In the Huddle with Gmac. This is a brainchild of mine. Came about over the last week or so. Just trying to wrap our head around football, and it was going to be In the Huddle with Gmac and Saugerties football, but I have so many friends and family and uh, coaching buddies that are in the game. So we're going to try and discuss football, and it's not going to be weekly. It'll probably be more like every couple days or so. But yeah, I want to get out there and I want to talk about the sport, talk about what makes everybody love the game, how we can change it, how we can make it better, and just kind of get behind the scenes of stuff you don't normally see. So when you go to a coaching, when you go to a game and there's all these things that are happening, and to your eye you may see it a certain way, but to a lot of people, other people's eyes, they see it differently. So to see football, maybe you'll get a different perspective on it. You get to hear from some players, you get to hear from some former players, some coaches, or a booster club, and how they can help the sport, or how you can help the booster club help the sport. So, you know, I really just want to kind of sit in there and give everybody all the different angles of what makes this sport great. And there was no better place to start than this kid that I have on tonight. And what what a kid he is! He's played football for me since he was 8 or 9 years old. He is the starting running back and linebacker for the Saugerties varsity football team. He's a sophomore, Ezra Cafaldo. What's up, Ez?
What's going on?
How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there, man. You guys getting ready for the game this week?
Yeah. I got pregame tomorrow, and then going to Marlboro Friday night.
Friday night, Marlboro. It's an early game, right? Like about 5:15 or something.
I think maybe 6 or something like that. It's still under the lights though.
Is there a reason it's early that you know of?
I have no idea. I just know the home team at the time and stuff like that. They choose. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
so they
why though.
chose an earlier game for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So I introduced everybody to you. I said you're a sophomore, right?
Yes.
And you play running back and linebacker.
Correct.
So with the way that football shook out this year, we went from having a modified, a JV, and a varsity to just a modified and a varsity. Now, you probably would have been one of the players as a 10th grader to go up, but now no matter what, every 10th grader's up.
Yeah.
What's the biggest change you've seen from a JV field to a varsity field?
Um, the game is definitely way faster. You can't arm tackle. You got to break down. Um, it's just all around completely different game. Like you're out there, you feel like the game's forever, but and really it's just going by, and you got to just learn to take one play at a time and just focus on that. But
Do you feel do you feel like maybe the your fundamentals got to be crisper? You can't, like you
absolutely,
said, you can't arm tackle. You have
yeah,
to be
absolutely,
fundamentally sound.
absolutely.
And how much of your game plan, like how much does your game plan matter? Like like we ever since you're in youth football, right? They tell you to stay home or man your zone or whatever the deal is. How much more does that matter in your weekly assignments?
Um, a lot more because now, even since like JV, now you can watch film of other games. You know, see. Now we're in 4 weeks into the season, so you can watch games, see what they change against certain defenses, see what offenses change against. Different guys that are running different defenses, and just the difference of how they adjust to stuff, so we can adjust to that when they come out in different formations.
So you're seeing a lot more adjustments being made between
Yeah,
plays where, like, maybe in JV or modified, you ran a 4-3 defense and you just kind of stayed in a 4-3 defense.
right,
Where now you're starting to you're getting in game adjustments at this level.
right, absolutely, all the time.
So you guys are off to a little bit of a rough start, right?
Yeah,
But it feels like each week you're getting a little bit crisper on certain plate, right? So like last week you had a rough first half, but the second half you guys played even with Rondout down the stretch.
yeah. Uh, the biggest thing about this team, I think, you know, my class, the class above me, that's juniors, except a couple players, this is varsity football is completely new. So however many seniors there are, maybe 8, 10, are the only guys that have played on varsity before. So for the 10th graders, me, the 11th graders, besides a select few, nobody's really ever played at the varsity level. And week one was this summer was the first time we've all played on one team. So it definitely took some time and us getting comfortable with each other and trusting each other and stuff like that. And just, gotta go play the game and, trust each other. So
So you said it was your first time playing together and whatnot. How important do you feel the summer workouts are?
um very important because all programs are doing it during the summer, but not all the players go to every workout. I mean, I think I missed one or two, like for some family stuff, but for the most part, you got to be there because if you want to get better, it all starts right there. That's where the season starts. I don't even call it off season. That's just where the season is. You got to start
Right.
it there. So
Well, that's where you guys kind of bond and you're lifting
right,
weights and you can kind of go over whatever new schemes or just how people read off of each other. Um, was so this summer was it a lot of were a lot of your teammates in the gym or was it more underclassmen even younger than you guys?
um,
Or was it about split evenly?
I would say it was for the most part it was split. You know, a lot of the seniors, some of the juniors had like full-time summer jobs.
Right.
Some guys, even though they had to work, they definitely tried to get in there as most of the time and try and get in there when they can and everything. But I'd say yeah, pretty evenly split, somewhere around there.
So by never playing together and not a majority of the team coming into the summer workouts, you guys were kind of behind starting, and now you're just building that trust each week, trying to
Yeah,
learn to trust the guy next to you when
yeah.
you're
I,
making a play.
I think week 3 against FDR,
Yeah.
I think that was definitely a big game. I think everybody came out, and just you gotta trust the guy next to you. So, and I think they definitely did that game. We all did, and we lost, but it was that was a football game. So
That was a very close game. That was a hard fought game. It was pretty
yes,
close. Um, I know you play baseball, right? And you wrestle
yeah,
as well. Is football your number one sport?
absolutely.
Why? Why?
That's a good question. I
What do you love? What about football is special to you?
um when I was younger, I never wanted to play football. I was a big baseball guy. Didn't want any part of football. Flag, tackle, none of it. And then one night during the winter, a friend of mine was going to a winter workout at the Mount Marion Elementary School. And you know what? Can't hurt. I decided to go. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and just I just excelled at it and absolutely fell in love with it. It's just there's very special moments that happen in football. There's people you play with that you'll never forget. You your teammates, your family. You know.
Well, you kind of hit on something I wanted to talk about a little bit. Special moment.
Yeah.
What did What did this moment mean to you right here? What did that moment mean to you?
Yeah, that was still one of the top football moments. That was very special. You know, we went down there. That was absolutely awesome.
That's as close to hitting a walk-off home run as you ever can get in football.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I believe you still have that game ball somewhere.
I do. It's up in my room in a case.
So when you play in a game like that and you have an outcome like that, what does that do? What does that do for you? Did that drive you to do more? Did that drive you to try and get back to that?
Um, I think after we went down there in Tennessee and you know held our own all day long and showed that we absolutely could belong there, I think next year I was anticipating going, but due to COVID and
Right.
that stopped football for that. That stopped one of my modified years. But
So how do you bounce back after that? Like you have this super high of highs, and then we go through COVID, right, where there's no football.
I think I think actually that was a big that was a big thing for the program actually when COVID happened because we were one of the only programs, us and New Paltz, that elected not to play in the spring when
Right.
other teams did. I think a lot of people got out of shape, including myself. I think because everybody was just so afraid of COVID and, you know, nobody got out, nobody did anything. Everybody was locked in their houses, doing the schoolwork on your computer. But I never lost anything for football. I wish that we could still be out there when that was going on, but there's nothing you can really do. But I think that definitely took a big blow, and I think we're still struggling from that right now
Well,
with numbers and
yeah, it
stuff.
kind of sets you behind, right? Like you
Yes.
miss an entire season. Other schools didn't necessarily miss that season,
Right.
and now you skip. Now essentially you skip a level,
Hmm.
and now you're right on varsity, and then so it's a culmination of things, and now you guys are playing catch up,
Right.
right? So, um, do you have any goals? Like, do you want to play football outside of high school? Like, do you want to go to college? Would you play if you had the opportunity to go to college to play?
Yeah.
That
Def-
would be your sport. That would be the sport you'd want to go in.
yeah.
And do you have any colleges in mind?
Uh, maybe like
Just say it. You know you want to say it. I can see it on your face.
maybe a little Georgia, Penn State, maybe Clemson or something like that.
If you dream, you got to dream so high in the. You got to dream up
Yeah.
there with the star. Dream
Yeah.
big, and then when you reach that, you dream even bigger, right?
Yeah.
So, besides football, what would you major in college? Is there anything that interests you off the field? Like, what are things you like to do besides ride your dirt bike?
I would definitely do some like outside work. Like if I don't go to college, I would want to work at Central Hudson or something like that.
That's a very good job.
Yeah, but
I thought you were going to be a salesman, though.
no, no.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we have an entire group of people that you could sell a ketchup popsicle to.
Yeah,
You got the gift of gab.
yeah, I could do that, but I don't know.
All right, so you're a sophomore. You're currently leading the team in scoring, right? You got two touchdowns on the year.
Yeah.
Um, you probably got to be close to leading the team in tackles as well, right?
Uh,
somewhere in there, you in the top
Yeah,
few or so.
yeah, somewhere.
Where can you improve? Like if you're being honest, looking at your own game, where do you feel you can improve?
Defensive side of the ball. Um, Probably filling gaps a little bit better, and also getting in the gap, and then once the play's away from me, scraping across the line. Probably. I think a big thing I do usually, I like if I go to scrape instead of scraping through the line, I kind of like try to go over the blocks. So there's a couple things.
So what do you feel? You're getting too deep, and then you're
Yeah, I feel it's almost like I'm going into a pass drop and then trying to run over blocks that are coming out.
right, right.
So
So so are you taking steps to work on that to
yeah,
clean that up a little bit?
yeah. I like today. I asked coach, if Watt as he's standing behind us during defense period, can you keep an eye on me? Make sure I'm getting up in there. Make sure I'm scraping across. And if not, tell me so I can fix it.
Now, do you feel your so how tall are you? About 5'6",
Mm,
5'7"?
5'7".
Do you feel your height has anything to do with how well you're reading the backfield? Like, because I mean, even your linemen at your in Saugerties are pretty big. They're pretty tall guys. So when you got like 6 footers out there, does it ever impair your vision to see the backfield clearly?
Uh, I mean, I've always, ever since a young age, I feel like I read the game well. I read blocks well. Like, I'm not always, I don't try to bounce the ball outside. I don't, if I see a lane, I'm gonna take it. I just feel like even going out and blocking people as a fullback for my running back, like I just
Well, you have great vision, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's you've always had great vision since you're a young kid. And even in that video we showed a few minutes ago, you made a cutback. You made 2 cuts on that run
yeah,
and just bowled in. But my question more specifically is on the defensive side of the ball. You're a 10th grader. The speed of the game. You say you're adapting to that. You're adapting very well. I was just wondering, like your line of sight. Do you feel like sometimes your line of sight, you got it, you have the good vision, you get in there, but you're in too deep?
yeah. I sometimes like if I read run first, obviously, and when I read run and I know there's a handoff in the backfield, and there's just a pile, and sometimes I feel like I notice myself almost getting caught up in blocks a little bit,
Like
like
maybe you're firing too early,
yeah, coming like trying to shoot the gap too hard,
right?
but for the
But that's
most
all part
part,
of growing in the sport, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
the game speed is a little different. And I wondered that, like when I watched, the last few games, like how you're seeing the field, because it's tough. Like we're not, I'm not a tall guy myself, but
yeah,
when you have 6 footers there, you're trying to read through big people,
yeah,
and you're not seeing over them. Um, can you adjust your depth at all to help your vision? Like, can you deepen up a yard or two so you can see a little bit better, scrape and then fill? Or are
yeah.
you kind of more fill first and then trying to scrape?
Well, for the most part, I would say I'm trying to fill first because I'm a run first player.
Right.
So once I get in my gap, if it's not coming my way, I try to scrape to the ball. But most of the time, I'm just filling my hole, filling the gap up.
Well, I mean, I see you make a lot of sideline tackles too. You go fill and then you
Yeah.
chase the ball. You're chasing down. Um, how do you feel you guys match up with Marlboro this week?
Um, I actually think our defense is pretty good. They try to from their film. that you can watch against multiple teams. They try to beat them to the outside. If they're throwing the ball, they're throwing the ball deep. They're not running crosses or anything or outs. The ball's usually going pretty deep. I wouldn't, you know, we've studied, we've practiced what they run. I think most of the guys we watch film at home, take notes here and there, and I think it'll be a ball game. But
Yeah, listen, that's why we play the game, right? On
yeah,
paper, paper doesn't tell the whole story.
no, you just gotta go out and just gotta play.
So I guess what I'm asking you is, as you age and you get older and you learn football, right? How much does preparation during the week and watching video translate over to helping you read your keys and find, de- see the play develop before it actually
Yeah,
develops?
it is a major part in it because like you said, keys. Like if you're watching film and you watch their formations, you see stuff happen before the play happens. Then in your key, and you can, when it's happening, you yell it out, and then you know what I mean. You could prepare yourself, and you could be ready for what's coming.
Yeah. No, and that's it. So see, just there, you're learning so much more. I can tell just that you're seeing like, it's I'm like a proud dad here. You know what I mean? I watched you from when you knew nothing. You just played with pure green energy. You never played before. We'd hand you the ball and you'd find a hole, or you just make a tackle. But now you know. Now you're reading your blocks. You're reading your keys. You're studying the film. So that says you're a football player. A lot of people, they play football and practice ends at 5:30 and that's it. But you don't.
Yeah,
To me, it doesn't seem like you're that guy. It seems like you're watching some film and
yeah, you
getting
gotta,
tablets.
you
Um,
definitely do.
what's up with that mullet, man?
Oh, she's in full effect.
What made you decide to go to the
Uh,
old mullet there?
well, I just had a bunch of hair. It was all like poofed out and stuff, and then I was like, football coming up. Shave the sides and let her go.
Yeah,
But
is it? Do you think you got the best mullet on in the school?
there's some pretty good ones.
Who's got the best mullet?
Um, mm, I mean, Sean Sasso used to have a pretty good one. He cut his off. Liam Turk used to have one. There's they're all pretty good. Zach has one.
Yeah.
Uh, his is pretty good. I like his, but
So whose is the best?
uh,
It's no easy question. I'm not lobbing you a softball here. Who has the best mullet?
ah, best mullet. Oh, I'm gonna have to go with uh. I used to like Sean Sasso's, so when he had
Sasso's
his
mullet. He had. Do you remember To? To had a really good
To's was
mullet.
shaved.
To had he had the Boz version of the mullet. He had a good
Yes,
Boz version.
yes, I do remember
Uh,
it.
yeah. So I'm gonna just read through some of your stats from when you played football. 2016, you're the offensive player of the year. 2017, most outstanding first year senior player. They were both championship years. You were captains on both of those teams. 2018, you were league MVP. In 2019, you got the Captain Clutch Award for the Saugerties Outlaw National Championship there. Um, what do you remember about those years and coming through and playing all these? Did getting those awards propel you to do more, like to want more and strive to be more?
Absolutely. You know, there's always room for improvement. So I always thought I could do better and everything, and just trust the guys that I was playing with and
Yeah.
work together.
Do you? what do you have a favorite game? Do you have a favorite game or a favorite play that you've had? Like I play, I can imagine which one that would be. Is
Yeah.
there a favorite game that you've ever been in? Is there a game that stands out in your mind that you just is one of your favorite games?
Um, there's a couple. Last year, we had a game against Port Jervis, last game of the year. That was a pretty fun game. I had two rushing touchdowns, a pick. That was more of a fun game,
Yeah,
but I think a favorite game would have to be either my first ever game.
you had two
That
touchdowns in that game.
that's when I fell in love with the game, or my first varsity game.
That was earlier this year.
Right.
Yeah. How about goals? You got any? What's your goals for the season? What's your goals for yourself in football?
Um, Goals, I would say the stuff I touched on defensively to work on and clean that up for this season. You know, um, as a team, trust each other more. You know, play together for a full 4 quarters from the start to the end. Um, I have 2 more years of it, so you know, this is
Well,
just a start.
you build upon what you learn now, right?
Yeah, this is just the start, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. You I get it. You're a sophomore, but usually I can't shut you up. You don't
Yeah,
stop talking, and you're like our Ferris Bueller, right? Like everybody knows Ezra,
yeah,
but somehow you're being all calm and quiet tonight, and not the normal guy that steals my shades and picks up chicks at the Saratoga Raceway.
yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to this guy right here? I want to know what you would say to this kid right here.
Message for my teammates that we are going to go there and no matter what happens first game, win or lose, we still went there and we did what we had to do.
What would you say to that kid?
Keep
What
on
would you tell
chugging.
that kid if you could go back in time and tell that kid anything? What would you go tell him?
Um, Work hard, and it's not gonna get easy. And
Work harder. Just keep
if you
working
want to be
harder.
good, you better go to off-season workouts, and you know, when everybody else is at home sleeping, you make sure you're there working to better yourself and better the team.
That's good advice. That's good advice for anybody, but to tell yourself that. Um, I don't want to keep you too much longer. You probably got some homework or something to do, but I do have a couple questions. All right. Number one, in your opinion, you're a student athlete in Saugerties. What would make our home games even better? Killing me with
Um,
this down, you man. Got to talk, man. You can't leave dead air.
I think a student section.
Like a true student section, yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
at one of our games there was a section where the students were supposed to sit. The parents were sitting there, and students were scattered throughout the stands. Actually, for the past couple away games, FDR, um, Rondout, we a lot of people have showed up, but we just a student section. The community that there's definitely a lot of people that show up, but it'd be absolutely awesome to play a home game, 7 o'clock under the lights. Which we could have had, but we won't touch on that.
Yeah. So what you're saying basically, so a student section full, right? So you tell
Right.
all your friends to tell their friends that everybody's got to be at this game.
Right.
and you have to sit in this area,
Right.
right? The dream list would be Friday Night Lights. Anything else?
Actually, uh, um,
How about a band?
nah, no band.
It's too quiet at that field, man.
Good day, that cowbells. Get the cowbells going.
The cowbells.
Yeah. Back to what you said before about a favorite game.
Yeah.
I think one I would have to add, you just reminded me when we were talking about night games. My first varsity Friday night game, FDR, just the atmosphere of a Friday night game. The stands absolutely filled under the lights, everybody there. It's just complete. Like varsity football is one thing, and then varsity football during that, completely different atmosphere.
So, well, yeah, right. Varsity football is one thing, but to play Friday night under the lights it's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I hear you. That's that's probably the goal of almost every person that's ever played for Saugerties or coached in Saugerties or every booster club. It'd be ideal if we could get lights. You know, that would be great to have. Our field, we got a nice field. We just need some lights.
Yeah.
I my opinion. Um, so I don't want to tie you up too much longer here. If if you can, where would you like to see the improvements come? Like, what do you want to see your next 2 years? Right, this is your building year. You're learning this year. Where do you see this team going over the next 2 years before you graduate?
Um, Definitely a big thing that needs to happen. The people that want to play football need to show up. Heart is a big thing. It's more than just wearing a shirt that says Sawyers or Sawyers football or Saugerties football. You know, for people like me, it goes way deeper than that. And if you want to win it, it has to. It just has to be a part of you. You have to wanna. You have to want to have it. You gotta. It has to be for all these guys. The guys coming up. You know, us now that's going to be on the team. A lot of it has to do with heart. That's the biggest thing. But
So, if you're a captain, if you become a captain over the next year,
mhm.
your goal would be to have any teammate make sure that they're in there putting the work in and
Yes.
pull essentially everybody pulling the rope in the same direction.
Yep.
And that's you got to lead by example, right? So
Right.
that's where that personality of yours has to
Yeah.
come in, and you got to go make people get there.
I think in the beginning of the year I didn't see a lot of that. As we get into the season, I think FDR. That's when everybody found trust in each other, and that something just clicked. And the guys that want it are working for it, but there's just we all gotta we all gotta we all gotta work together and shoot for the same goal.
Right. So you're growing this year, but for the next 2 years, like where do you see with your teammates over the next 2 years? Like you got some talent, you got some, you're a sophomore, so you're there, you're in it, right? You
Yeah.
see what you have in 11th graders, and then you got a bunch of guys you play with that are a little bit younger than you.
Right. So there's the seniors that will be leaving this year. There's a lot of meat on the line. There's a lot of big guys there's a couple big guys that are going to be leaving us. But for the most part, for the 11th graders, there's a lot. There's some pretty big guys for linemen alone. Next year is their year. They're the seniors next year. So and then you have the grade before me coming up, you know, Boston, people like that, guys that I've always played with, and people I went to Tennessee with, people I've always played with, and never got the chance to play school ball with until next year, most likely.
Right.
I think it can be a very successful team. I think the younger guys, just want to go out and get it, and that's it. You gotta want it.
How much do you like when you think back? How much of you guys always winning and being competitive? How much do you think that helps you underclassmen?
A lot.
Like when you guys are trailing, you younger guys don't seem to hang your heads at all.
Yeah, no, you can't. That's it. That's how you. That right there. If you hang your head, you're losing 14-0. That's nothing. It's nothing. Some people just aren't get used to it and just hang their head and up, wave the white flag and just give up, and you just can't do that because you know you do that and that's your ball game right there.
Right, two scores is that's
That's nothing.
definitely you can come back from that.
That you could get 2 scores in 2 plays.
Yeah, 100%.
It,
On the ensuing kickoff, you could get the next score. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So how much of that do you think attributes to you guys? You guys have been successful since you were young. You won pretty much every time. This is the first time you really had to deal with adversity
Yeah.
at this level. Do you feel like the underclassmen, your sophomore group, do you guys feel that I don't want to say, but you guys fight it? You guys don't hang your head. You guys are
Yeah.
more like, hey, let's go. We're still in this.
Yeah. I think sometimes I found myself trying to rally the guys back together, like if we're on team day or if we're in the huddle on offense, hey, let's go. Let's go. You know, find somebody, block somebody, let's go. It's not over at all.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to pose the question in the way that what I'm trying to say. Do you feel that having success, right, a lot of success
Hmm.
as a football player with your groups of guys, do you feel that that helps you? Do you feel that that helps you as opposed to if you didn't have success? You know what I mean? Like when you
I
guys are
think
trailing.
winning so much, all we've done is win. And that's all we know how to do. So when we come out, we're not thinking like when I come out on the field, I'm not worried about what number we were talking about in film. I'm not worried about that. I'm once the helmet goes on, I show up to the school, I get dressed, I look myself in the mirror in the locker room, put the helmet on, strap it up. That's it. Nothing else matters. I tell the guys all the time, like when we're about to break it down to go into the game, I don't care about who's in the stands. I don't care your girlfriend, your brother, your sister. I don't care about the refs, the coaches. It doesn't matter because whoever's in this circle right now that I'm talking to, that's what matters. That's I'm about to go to war with you guys, so I'm not worried about anything else. And that's the mindset you have to have. And
That's a great mindset, buddy.
it is what
Great
it
mindset.
is.
But every time you step on that field, you feel like you're going to win because
Yeah,
that's what you know how to do.
that's my mindset every game. That should be all of ours.
I agree. I agree. So what homework did you put off to come on this show?
I got a little social studies to do. But,
Who's your teacher?
Coach McDougal.
All right, so Coach McDougal, I mean, you got to give him a little pass. He came on the show to talk about Saugerties football, and he's a football coach, so he should
Yeah,
give you a little bit of a pass.
a little bit.
A little bit of a pass. So one more thing. What do you? Not this week, right? You're away this Friday.
Yep.
Next weekend is the Mumble?
October 8th, yeah.
October 8th. So yeah, so that'll be next weekend. What would it mean to get a who are you playing?
Port.
Port. And what would it mean to have that be a Mumble win?
Changes the whole program. There hasn't been a win in a while. That's just how the cards have been drawn, and it's time to change that. And a win flips everything around.
So that would be the statement game. That could be like if you look back from your senior year and you guys are, you've turned this thing around, you're successful. You think a win in the Mumble versus Port Jervis this year can turn everything right on the right.
It doesn't even have to be the Mumble.
But what would it mean to be at home and get that win?
Yes.
Against a tough Port Jervis team.
Yeah.
So
that would definitely be
that's
the point.
Well, if you believe that, that's what you guys got to will yourselves to go do.
Yeah.
Mumble always draws a big crowd. It'd be nice to do that. Are you looking forward to the dance?
I don't know. Yeah, I gotta get a suit or something. I gotta match the girlfriend. So.
Yeah, but you guys haven't had a dance in ages because of the COVID stuff.
There was one last winter. I don't go to that.
So you got to get a suit to match the girlfriend after the big win in the Mumble.
Yes, that's the plan. That's what we're going for.
That's the plan. All right.
Maybe like a baby blue or something, Columbia blue to match the uniform.
There you go. You could look like the Dumb and Dumber when he's got the Columbia blue tuxedo on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something like that.
All right, bud. Well, I just want to tell you good luck the rest of the weekend, rest of the season, but especially this weekend, Friday night. Hopefully you go out there and, really kick some ass against Marlboro. It'd be nice to see you guys pull off your first win of the season. I want to thank you for coming on. Anything you want to say to your teammates or your family, your friends, anything before we wrap it up?
Marlboro, let's go.
All right. That's Ezra Cafaldo. This is the first one of many of these. I think Monday night, 7:30 p.m., we will have Dennis Sheehan on. He was a former football player, coach in the late 70s into the early 80s. He coached with Larry Neville a bunch of years, so that'll be interesting. And as the season, we're halfway through the season when I started this. We're going to have a lot more coaches, a lot more players on. But everybody come out Friday night, 6 p.m. in Marlboro. Watch Ez and the boys go and take on the Iron Dukes and hopefully bring home a Sawyer victory. Till next time, it's Gmac, and I'll say goodbye for Ez. Have a good night, guys.